If you talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. I don't know what you thought, but I've been taught by Yahuwah, by Yahuwah. I say by Yahuwah, you know the all should die, and now y'all all should cry, because the real is back. I say the real is back. I took L's, that's facts, and yet still stand.
Shalom, greetings, and welcome back to another episode here at Israelite Talk TV, where we deal with all the current events surrounding the Israelites here in this nation and also in various different nations around the globe where the Most High Yahuwah has scattered us to. Now, today, family, I'm finna get in a message that I have titled "The Lie of the 12 Lost Tribes of Israel." Now, I know some of you all come here to get updated on a lot of the different information that's going on within our culture all throughout this nation. But from time to time, I'm going to be doing messages like this on this particular channel. A lot of the more controversial subjects, basically for security reasons. As you all know, that we don't have freedom of speech here in this nation. And there's a lot of people that's just not aware of that. It's like we have people that have these straw man arguments, not understanding that when you go back into time, of the building of this nation, when the Constitution was instituted, you have to understand that back during that time period, you had what was known as the slave codes. See, I study the laws because the laws help us to understand the things that were going on during that time period. And when we look at the slave codes of Virginia, of Maryland, of DC, we can clearly see that there was people that was protesting, blacks that were Israelites that were in the nation during that time period that was protesting also. And when they would go before the courts would let them know that the Constitution is not referring to you. The only thing in the Constitution that's referring to you is property, So this is what people don't understand. The Constitution was never made for us or for our people. But then we sit up here and want to argue about this and argue about that. What the Constitution said, this and that. And they continue to do what they do because they know in their mind that this stuff was never created for you anyway. OK, so I'm going to be talking more on that because people got to understand what's going on here. You got to understand what happened during the days and times of the Civil War. OK, what that war was all about. That was a war between Europeans from the old mindset to the old mindset versus the new mindset. The new mindset is using witchcraft and sorcery to deceive the people, to have them believe like, oh, everybody's equal, we're all this and that. But in reality, they're not. This is how they control the people. The other mindset is what you see when you see these the racist Europeans that come out and want to blow up stuff and want to, these type of people, So you got two different types of Europeans at work here in this nation. And I'm going to be teaching you about that also, OK, in the weeks and days to come. But at any rate, let's get into the message. OK, I don't want to waste a whole lot of time on a lot of idle chatter. Let's just get right into it. Now, if you guys have been paying attention lately, you know that Israelites have been in the headlines trending lately. OK, and I mean, we're trending all over the world. They even mention this up. They're even mentioning our names over in modern day Israel today. So we're touching places all around the earth with the noise that we're keeping up about who are the Israelites. OK, and so we're pretty much been in the headline trending over the controversial question, who are the real Israelites according to the Bible? Who are the biblical Israelites? OK, now this question is so controversial and so dangerous that if you are a celebrity and you speak on this subject and you are not speaking in the same vein as the popular opinion presented by Europeans, then they're going to blackball you. They're going to cancel you. And so this is how dangerous this question is. But whenever this question is asked, there's always a lot of confusion that arises from both ends of the field. And when I speak about both ends of the field, I'm speaking about from Europeans and also from Israelites. Okay. There's a lot of confusion that goes on. So like when you look at the Europeans, let's start with the Europeans first. What they do is that you have those that say they are the people of the book, right? But yet they cannot prove their migration patterns. They cannot show where they come from. Okay. And I've listened to a lot of these rabbis or the ones that claim they are rabbis, and they have not been able to answer this question. Okay. So like if we just take a second, right? And we just go back before the days and times of the Holocaust, right? The question we have to ask ourselves, if these people are the real biblical Israelites of the book, where can we find them scattered throughout the four corners of the earth prior to the days and times of the Holocaust? Because we know that during the days and times of the Holocaust, that a lot of the neighboring countries to Germany took in these Jews into their country, including the United States, which they should. This is their people. You know, why wouldn't they take them in? But prior to that, where can we find them scattered throughout the four corners of the earth? Where can we find them anywhere in the earth in captivity, you know, prior to that time? It doesn't exist, you know, so they cannot prove where they come from, letting us know that these are not the people of the book, because the children of Israel are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay. Anybody that's standing up and saying that they're Israel, they got to be able to show that they are in the four corners of the earth. Okay. And they just can't do it. Now, the thing that I think is very interesting about this whole subject is because we're talking about the confusion that they like to kick up. Now, what they like to do is they like to hide behind two different things. They like to hide behind money and then the word anti-Semite, you know, because they know that a lot of our people are ignorant, have not done just some simple research. You can just simply Google anti-Semite, see what a Semite is, and would know and understand that you are Semitic. So you could never be anti-Semitic when you are Semitic, okay? But they hide behind those two things. So with them controlling the money, they can sit these celebrities down behind the scenes and, you know, yeah, you know, and get them to comply with them. If not, then they just cut all their water off, you know. And the thing that's so interesting is that why won't these Jews, the rabbis, the top rabbis that say that they standing on business and they can prove, why don't they come out and never talk with none of the heads of the different Israelite camps, and they can just kill all the noise then? Why won't they do a live debate? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about these peewees like what's his name? Harry Rosenberg. That dude ain't no real rabbi. That dude, he's a peewee. He's in the way. You know, I done watched that dude get the brakes beat off of him for years, man. Israelites been tearing that boy up. I just watched the lights over there in Sakari give him the business on Clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? All he kept saying is, well, I don't know. I'm going to have to go look that up. You the rabbi. What you got to go look up for, and you the rabbi? See what I'm saying? If you got to go holler at other rabbis, send them. We don't want to talk to peewees. We want the people that can give us the answers. All this, I don't know. Just go and sit down. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me y'all coming out and saying that you descend from Judah and Levi and this and that, and you cannot prove where you come from? This is madness. You know? So at the end of the day, why won't they ever come out and sit down with any of the heads of any Israelite sect? And let me say this. I don't agree with a lot of the doctrines that come out, a lot of these different Israelite sects. But one thing that I know for sure, okay, any Israelite camp here in this nation will beat the brakes off any rabbi whenever it comes down to who the real people of the book, if they ever sit down with them. I don't believe it's not one camp that's in existence here in this nation today that cannot prove that we are the people of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Not one. So why won't they ever come down? If what they're saying is true, why won't they ever sit down and just talk to the people, you know what I'm saying, and just square it out and be like, hey, this is us, wooty wooty woo, and this is it. You see? But they'll never do that, you know, because the scriptures is very clear. It tells us in Deuteronomy 28 that these people are what? Our enemies. This is what the book teaches us. Okay? They may laugh, hee hee ha ha, but they're not your friend. As long as they're making money off you, they cool, you know. So then that's one version. Then you have these other Europeans that's running throughout the earth, like you see on National Geographics, or we're looking for the lost tribes of Israel. You know, they're all the way in China and Japan and all these places looking for the so-called lost 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. And this is why I'm doing this message today, because the 12 tribes of Israel are not lost. They're right in the places where the Father said that they would be at here in these last days, as I'm getting ready to teach you. Okay, so you got all that madness going on. We're looking for the lost 12. Well, if these people, if your people and them that left out of Germany saying to people, why are y'all running throughout the earth looking for the 12 lost tribes? Why don't you just go to them and get the information on where these people are at? You see what I'm saying? So this lets you know that that is nothing but confusion. But now, when we look at the Israelites here in this nation, okay, there's also confusion that's going on, because, we got certain of our brothers that's running around with this fake 12 tribe chart, okay, peddling this stuff. And the opposers know that this stuff is not real, okay? And I'm getting ready to break down and explain to you how they know that it's not real. So what they're more concerned about is that they know that these people are not really preaching the 100 truth. What they're scared about is people like me that's going to come along and that's going to break things down properly, and give people the real. This is what they fear. This is why they try to silence it and don't talk about it. But these guys are running around with this 12 chart. And it's just like the other day, I was watching the interview that Go Black to Africa was doing with Nathaniel L with IUIC. Okay. And shout out to Go Black to Africa. If y'all never checked his channel out, go check him out. I've been watching him since he was doing his video blog, and I like what his channel has involved into. So y'all go over there and show him some love if y'all not subscribed to his channel. But I was watching the interview that he was doing with Bishop Nathaniel, and he asked him a question in that video about, well, what about the people? And I'm paraphrasing. He said something to the extent, what about the people that say, well, something about the 12 tribe charts? And he would go on to say that, oh, well, yeah, the Latinos, the Mexicans or whatever are, this tribe. And we know this because there were slave ships that was found down there. And just because you find slave ships do not bear record that, okay, well, these people are actually the people of the book. You see what I'm saying? You got to understand that what the Spanish did prior to the days and times of the Europeans, during the days and times of Christopher Columbus, when they was on this expedition through the Caribbeans and stuff like that. And I'm getting ready to show you this stuff here real soon. Just stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all sub to the channel, because I'm getting ready to show you this stuff real soon, what's going on here in the Caribbeans. But at any rate, when they went into these different lands, they killed the people that was originally from those lands. And once they killed, like the Taiwan Indians and all of these different people in these different places, what they did was they brought in these Catholics, these Romans from Rome, and they put them in all these different places, including Mexico. This is why when you look in a lot of those places over there, they're Roman Catholics, because that's who came over there. They killed the people, and then they brought Roman Catholics over there. Okay, so some of those people down there are actually Romans. They just left Rome and went into these spots and set up shop, and then they integrated into the land. Okay, but I'm gonna also be teaching you on that too. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming down the pipeline that we gotta know. But what we gotta focus in on is, what does the prophecy tell us? You see, what is the prophecy speaking? This is how we verify everything. And he was just like, man, we just go, this is what we believe, this is what we're gonna run with it. So we gotta get this prideful spirit out of us and be able to sit down and assess and process the real information, instead of just saying, well, we've been taught this, so this is what we're going to run with. Okay. So they're running around. Now, there is some truth to this 12 tribe chart, and I'm ready to explain it to you now. But the first thing that we got to understand as I get ready to get into this message is, go with me to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 31, and we're going to start at verse number 35. Now listen to this. It says, thus saith Yahuwah, was giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, was divided the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahuwah of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith Yahuwah, then the seed of Israel shall also cease from being a nation before me forever. Okay. So the first thing is, I begin to get into this message, because see, when people are confused, they do nothing. Okay. When they're confused, they do nothing. So it's time to get rid of all of the confusion. And I'm bringing you the original doctrine. Okay. The first thing that we have to grasp is, the Father is telling us in his word, if he could break his ordinance with the sun and the stars, basically saying, Every day the sun comes out at its appointed time, every morning. Okay. Regardless if you see it or not, if it's a cloudy day, the sun is still making its course through the sky. And we know this because when you fly and you go above the clouds, there go the sun just making his way, around his path. What the Father is saying is, if I could break my covenant with the sun and the moon and the stars, then Israel will cease from being a nation before me forever. So what the Father is telling us is that the nation of Israel is here in the earth today. Okay? They're here. Okay? They're here today. And they're going to be here to the end of time. Okay? And so this is the first thing that we have to be mindful of, because there's a lot of chatter. Now you have people like Sinetta that comes out and they want to play the DNA game. Now I'm going to be also doing something on DNA, but the thing that we have to grasp about DNA is cool if it is used properly. Okay. You got to grasp the enemy is never going to give you the full 100. Okay. And I was listening where they had a show just the other day that I was listening to. And one of the things that the brother was bringing out was, I need to see a genealogy from this person and that person. But what's going on today with the mixtures is also been prophesied in the book. And it's right here in the same chapter that I'm reading from. And it's right here when we go back up to verse 27, Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 27. It says, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. Now, what is the Father saying here? Okay. Now, we know bestiality is a sin. Okay. So we know that the Father is not finna sow the seed of Israel with, the beasts of today. What the Father is speaking about is the Neanderthal and the Denisovans. Okay. The beast that he created in the beginning of time, as I have taught you. So when you see these mixtures of Israelites with white people, you have to understand that this was already prophesied about in the book. The Father already told you he was going to do that. So we're not surprised about that. Okay. But just because he has mixed them with them people do not mean they're not Israelites. You see what I'm saying? Because he said, I'm going to sow the seed. The seed. Okay. More of that to come. But at any rate, the point that I'm trying to make here, so that we don't get too far off course and go into a whole nother lesson, is that the nation of Israel is still here in the earth today. Now, how do we find the 12 tribes of Israel? It's simple. If we go over to the book of Isaiah, chapter 11. Okay, Isaiah chapter 11, and I'm going to pick up at verse number 10. Now, we all know that Isaiah chapter 11 is a prophetic chapter in the book of Isaiah, speaking about things in the last days that's going to happen with the nation of Israel. Now, listen what the book is bringing out. It says, and in that day, there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for a sign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Now, listen to this. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up a sign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So now, I don't care nothing about the DNA. They tested this person over here. They got this gene. That's garbage. Because what they're saying, if they believe in Tanakh, that basically the Father is lying. Because he just told us where he's going to gather his people from in the last days. Now, one of the spots he said he's going to gather them from in verse number 11 is that he said, and from the islands of the sea. So what you have to grasp is that over here in the United States and, South America, the Caribbean and all this stuff, these are the isles. These are the islands. So if we are in the isles here in these last days, and we know that we're the Israelites, and the Father's going to be gathering us from this place, then that mean that the other places where he said the Israelites were going to be at is where they're at. You see? So what people have to understand is that all of this stuff about Puerto Rico is Ephraim and Simeon is that is trash. Okay? The only truth to that 12 tribe chart is that the slaves that went into those nations, into the islands, into Americas, into South America, into Europe, those that are the descendants of slaves that intermingled with the people and had offspring, those are Israelites. And they are the southern kingdom. They are from Judah. Okay? Because we know that the southern kingdom made up Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So this is who got scattered to America. This is who got scattered to the islands. And this is who got scattered into South America. This is what it is. The 12 tribe chart is fake. This is why when you look at the ancient maps of Africa, it doesn't say the kingdom of Israel. It says the kingdom of Judah. They came and got the royal seed when they came to Africa. You see? And this is why we own their neck, because what does Tanakh teach us when we go into the book of the law in Genesis? It says Judah is going to be at the neck of their enemies and that their brothers are going to applaud him. This is what we're doing. Because, I mean, let's just be real with it. Where else in the world are blacks standing on business like we standing on business over here? What Israelites? I mean, we standing on business big time over here. We ain't not playing no games with these people. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is that we have to rightly divide the word and process information. This stuff about, oh, well, the Indians, listen, just stop. The southern kingdom is who went into captivity, and it's a simple thing to understand. Okay, now the snake handlers understood this, because let's go look at something right now. When you go into the New Testament, right, and I don't follow the New Testament because we know that it's fake, and you Israelites that's still holding on to this, y'all need to run and move away from this fast, because this is the false light. This is not the real light whatsoever. But at any rate, what they attempted to do is, when you go into the book of Acts chapter 2, right, during the days and times of Pentecost, right, listen what it says here in verse number 5. Acts 2 verse 5. It says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under the heavens. Okay. Now, when we jump down here to verse number 8, because they said, okay, these people were Jews, but what they're trying to do is they're attempting to try to fulfill Isaiah chapter 11, where the Father said he's going to gather his remnant from these different parts. This is why it tells us in verse number 8, it says, and how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born, Parthians and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea and Cappadocia and Pontus and in Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, in Egypt, and in parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, and Jews and proselytes. Okay, Cretes and Arabians. Because why? This is where the northern kingdom, see, the northern kingdom got scattered into Assyria, which is Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia basically was composed of the area of part of what is known today as modern day Iraq, okay, right next door to Syria, and in between Iran and part of Iran. And that stretch right there, that was all Mesopotamia. That's where Babylon, the Chaldeans, and all of these places were at. And if you remember, during the days and times, and let's just go to that real quick. Let's go to 2 Kings. 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 15. And let's pick up at verse number 29. Because what I'm getting ready to show you is that during the days and times of Pekah, one of the last kings of Israel, the Assyrian king came and took out half of the kingdom of the northern kingdom and took them into captivity. And then during the days and times of Hezekiah, he took the other half into captivity during the days and times of Hoshea, the last king of Israel. But at any rate, we're in 2 Kings chapter 16, verse 29. It says, in the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon and Abel Beth Maacah and Janoah and Kedesh and Hazor and Gilead and Galilee, all the lands of Naphtali, and carried them away captive to Assyria. So he took part of the kingdom then. And we can see this in the book of Chronicles, where it brings out during the days and times of Hezekiah, during the days and times of the Passover, he sent word down to the rest of the people that was left over in the land that had not gone into captivity yet. And some of them mocked Hezekiah and then come up, and then they was eventually removed off of the land. Okay, now some did go up, but a lot of them didn't. They mocked Hezekiah and then go up. But at any rate, in 2 Kings chapter 17, let's jump over there real quick, and I'm going to pick up at verse number 3. It says, against him, speaking about Hoshea, the last king of Israel, it says, came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. You know what? Let me just skip through this just for time purposes. You can read this, but let me say this right here. It says in verse number 6, 2 Kings 17, verse 6, in the 9th year, Hoshea, king of Assyria, took Samaria and carried Israel away in Assyria and placed them in Halah Habar by the river and Gozan and in the city of the Medes. So this is what they're attempting to try to fulfill in the book of Acts, because they already know in the book of Isaiah, it has already told us that the Father is going to gather his people from those places. But we know that the Father has not gathered these people, and that this is a false fulfillment prophecy that they're attempting to try to fulfill. Because if we go back to Isaiah chapter 11, and just keep reading, okay, it tells us in verse 13, Isaiah 11, verse 13, it says, then the envy of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But listen to this, but they shall fly up on the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay hand upon Edom, Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. Was that fulfilled during the days and times they claimed Jesus walked the earth, and what we just read in the book of Acts? Oh, they were being persecuted and fleeing during that time period. So this is what they're attempting to try to fulfill, but these are the end time prophecies, okay? And we know that the people in the land has not fulfilled this either, you know what I mean? But at any rate, this is what it is, okay? And just to go another step further, let's go over to the book of Ezra real quick, okay? Let's go to the book of Ezra. Let's go to Ezra. Ezra chapter 1, okay? Ezra chapter 1, and I'm going to start reading at verse number 5. It says, then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests, and the Levites, and them whose Ruach Elohim had raised to go and build the house of Yahuwah, which is in Jerusalem. So what we're doing now is we're going to the days and times of the Babylonian captivity, okay? So what we got to understand about the Babylonian captivity is that the northern kingdom had got removed out of the land around approximately 720 BC, okay? So the northern kingdom had been removed off of the land approximately 120 to 150 years before the southern kingdom got removed off of the land. Okay. So the northern kingdom is already removed off the land for over 100 some years. Okay. So when Judah went into captivity, in the Babylonian captivity, when they got out of the captivity, what is this telling us? Who left the captivity and went back into the land of Judea? It was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, okay? The Levites and the priests, because the priests come from Levi, okay? So this was who went back into the land. So logical sense tells us that when they got barred out of the land on the days and times of Messiah, this is who was fleeing out the land. Not the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom had been removed over 700 some years in place where they was already placed at before any of this stuff happened. So why would they be fleeing 700 some years later and running into different kingdoms when they already have been removed out of the sight of the Most High and placed where he wanted them to be placed at? So this is who went back in the land. So back during the days and times of Messiah, when they got barred out of the land, this is who fled into Egypt. I mean, right, and fled into Egypt, into Africa and stuff. And Josephus also tells us in his writings that this is what happened. And some of the Yahudim went into captivity into Rome. This is why the Father has told us he's going to gather Judah from the four corners of the earth, because Judah is the one who got scattered into the four corners of the earth. And this is important to understand, because this is what they try to do. And this is what I want you all to understand. Any group of people in the earth that they're saying are the Israelites, these people have to be in the four corners of the earth. They can run to Africa and, oh, well, the Bantu and the night, the Igbos and the Listen, those, I don't care who they go identify and say these are the people, because I got something that's coming on Ethiopia, okay? Because these people, from what I'm seeing, are not the people of the book. So whoever they go point out in Africa and say, oh, these are the people right here, they have to be in the four corners of the earth. All of this Mickey Mouse stuff, we found a tribe over here, and then you got one tribe out of Germany, you got one tribe out of Africa, and you telling me that's in the four corners of the earth? No, the Israelites are in the four corners of the earth. Just like we know today, the slaves that came out of Africa, okay? And I got an expose that's coming on Africa, and I think I'm finna do it in the next message that I do. But at any rate, the slaves that came out of Africa, that came here, that went into the Caribbean, went into South America, went into Europe, these people, which are the descendants of slaves, you got to match that DNA up with people all around the world. You can't just say, well, we're the Israelites, we this and that. You're not fulfilling the prophecy. Why are you ain't in the why are you not in the four corners of the earth? Okay. So it don't take long to dismantle this stuff. This stuff about this 12 lost tribe. You got brothers that's going into the Apocrypha and saying, oh, well, they left here and came to America. How does that fulfill any type of prophecy? If the Father's telling you you're going back into captivity on slave ships, if these people hopped and jumped into a ship and came over here and started a new life and all this other stuff, that's not going into captivity on slave ships. And your oppressors know that. This is why y'all got to remove yourself from this dummy doctrine. If you pay attention, the Jews that's in Israel today, what do they identify as? Judah and the priests and things like that. Why? Because this who got scattered, as I just showed you. So when they came to Africa, they came and got the royal seed, and this is what they got. You know what I mean? So I want to take a few minutes out just to touch on this. Now, in a message that I'm going to be doing real soon, I'm going to be teaching you all why it's important to know who the children of Israel is here in these last days, because all the money in the house has been betted on them from the Most High. Everything is determined on the Israelites, the people, the biological people according to the flesh. This is why when you look at people like, yeah, they'll take all that money. They don't care nothing about that. They print the money. They don't care. Because when you understand the prophecies and the magnitude of the prophecies, you're not going to be saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter who the Israelites is and who, what is it ain't making me no money and all this other stuff. Because see, soon the Israelites here in this nation fully turn back to the Most High and began to keep his commandments and walking in righteousness, it's over with. Okay. So I just wanted to take a few minutes out to touch on this, to debunk this 12 tribe chart. Okay. And help people to understand that we are the southern kingdom. Okay. That was scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay. Some of us are from the tribe of Judah. Some of us are from the tribe of Benjamin. And some of us are Levites. Okay. Some of us are actually real priests. Okay. So, and they know this. This is why they took these particular individuals and placed them in their churches. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is what it is. I love y'all. Y'all stay safe. I'll talk to y'all soon. Shalom.